Patrick Janssens moved to England 15 years ago after falling in love with greyhounds as a child back home in Holland, and it was all down to one man and his dog.
There was always a man walking in the street. He had 2 Afghans and 1 greyhound, and I always loved the greyhound. And then he said to me, "He races him." I said, "You race him?" And then I went with him to a track on a Sunday because that's when they race, and that was it. I loved it, and then I was only 10 years old when I went the first time, and then my mum says, "If you have a good school report, you can have a puppy." And that's what happened. I'm studying and I had a puppy, so then I reared them myself before I went to school, took them walking when I come home, and that's how it all started.
So things are different in Holland. You can have a greyhound sort of as a pet and take it to race, can you?
That's it. They just normally live indoors, and on a Sunday you go racing, but most of the people, you go there on a Friday evening and they stay in camper vans and this and that, and that's just a social weekend. That's what it is.
So you've pretty much been training greyhounds from what age?
I was 10 years old, 10 years when I was starting, and I absolutely love it.
So from then on, did you always want to be involved in training greyhounds? Was that a career dream for you?
But it was, but when I got older, I got my driving licence. I was 20 and I went to the States. I went to Florida and I spent there 16 days travelling around to all the tracks and this and that. And then I was very fascinated with that. And then I come to England. I used to come every year to the Derby, to Wimbledon. And then I went a few times to Ireland. And then at one stage in my life, I thought, I'm going to try that, working with greyhounds. And I went to work for Matt O'Donnell in Ireland. I spent there a couple of months. And then I spent altogether about 9 months in Ireland. I wasn't the greatest fan of the system there, so I come to England, and I think it's different class over here, to be honest.
That's a lot of dedication to take yourself at a fairly young age to America and travel the world learning about greyhound racing. Where would you say you learnt the most?
England, definitely England, yeah. Especially with in England I only worked for sort of Linda Jones and Mark Wallace sort of thing, but then with the amount of dogs you get there when we were at Walthamstow, because you get a high turnover, you get a lot of different dogs in, so you learn a lot about the different dogs and the sires they buy and the breeding, and that's because every dog, the way they're bred, their attitude is different. Like, say, Starter Drummond dogs, they're very, temperamental. You have to be very kind to them, because if you raise your voice, they'd be scared. Blonde Snapper was sort of dog like that as well. He didn't like strangers. While he had an eye in the storm, he would go in the middle of Wembley and he would run. That would make no difference to him, but them sort of dogs are. And I think I learned a lot more over here than I did anywhere else.
Was it always your ambition to have your own training licence?
Yeah, it is. I think that's from every kennel end, isn't it, at the end of the day? Try to do it yourself, but unfortunately, with the financial circumstances, it ain't allowed. And I think there's a lot of kennel hands out there who would do a really good job in training dogs, and they should become trainers, because otherwise you only end up with what are you going to do if they're going to die?
Whilst you were assistant trainer to Mark Wallace, you were working with your longtime partner Cheryl as well, and it was greyhound racing that brought you two together in a roundabout sort of way, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We went one night to Racing Post Festival night. I went down there, and I think Mark was been away, and I had the next day off, so I thought I'd stay down in London, and I booked a hotel, but I didn't even know Cheryl. And then when the racing was finished, we went into Charlie Chan's, and that's where I met her. And then from one come the other, and then she moved up here and she started working for Mark, and that's how it all happened.
And now you both have this incredible love for greyhound racing, and that really helps with the relationship, doesn't it? Because there's a lot of time you have to spend with the dogs.
Oh yeah, it's a way of life, isn't it? Training greyhounds or doing dogs or whatever you want to do, but it's you have to get up every morning. You can't have a lay in, you can't have a day off. That's the way it is, But you know that before you start, so. And, I can't wait to get out there in the morning to see them dogs. And neither does Cheryl, so that's how we do it.
You've experienced so many good times, particularly working for Mark Wallace. What has been the best for you?
Oh, definitely with Kinda Ready winning that derby.
It's Fears of Phonic, some 4 lengths clear into the third bend. Kinda Ready staying on. After these comes Wise Thought. They come round the final bend. It's Charlie Lister and Fears of Phonic with a length lead. Kinda Ready's closing. Kinda Ready got there.
That was the ultimate moment in my opinion, because it was still on the other side sort of thing, and there was a lot more people there, and you know, like Darren Johnson, you know, you know, the mum was with Mark as well, where Linda trained at the time, and they bred themselves, you know, and he was there from a young age. He started A5 Coventry, and then to win a derby, that was incredible.
Would it be your ultimate dream to achieve that?
Well, it is. That's every trainer's dream, isn't it, winning that derby, you know. It's like what Bruno happened last year, you know. It's unbelievable. He gets an A5 dog from Romford. Okay, he wasn't suited to Romford, there's a different story, but, you know, he wins the derby, you know, and then everybody has their own opinion about it afterwards, but they can't take that away from him. He won it, and, you know, he led at the right time, at the right place, and that's what all matters.
So that's your favourite moment on the track. What about your favourite greyhounds off the track, be they superstars or not? You've taken to a few, haven't you?
I do. We used to have a dog at Kennels Army's Plan. His name was Ted. I used to love him as well. He was a brilliant dog. He never had a lead on, not even at the track. You could walk him without a lead. And Fear No One, he's my all-time favourite. You know, he always will be. He always will be, because he's such a kind dog, and he was in my opinion, when he raced, he didn't stay 480. He only stayed about 400 metres, but he was a born winner. He tried, and that's what you want to see in greyhounds, as long as they try, you know. And he's my favourite.
So looking back now, if you could give that 10-year-old boy any advice, would you pretty much tell him to do what you've done?
Well, the thing in life is you have to do what you like doing. You know, it's no good doing because you've been told to do that. You know, you have to do what you like doing, and that's what I always done in life. And I'm very stubborn in that. You know, when I said to my mother I'm going to Ireland to train dogs, oh, she called me everything, you know. But you know, I enjoy every day of my life, you know, and that's what I want to do. I want to keep doing.